9 is global enterprise class. You can guess the vertical for that one. Enterprise. Oh, crap. Sorry. That is... That's a nobody. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Before you cross anything out, let me make sure. All right. 9 is social change.
That's the top.
Hey, it's coming. Okay, I gotta find. Can you rope?
So, all right. Maker group, where are you? Maker, Bueller. Nobody. Okay. Easy ad. Are you guys here? You guys haven't submitted your link. Oh, you're not present. Okay, never mind, because you don't have one. Oh, keep me on my toes. All right. We're missing the maker group, I think. Can you go? They're in the back corner. Can you go make sure? No, they don't have. Social change. Are you guys here?
Social
Charge. Excuse me. Change. Do you guys have a G+? Yes. You guys have to submit the link. That's the one.
We give the sticky note.
Did you submit it to the sticky note?
Yeah. You can give it now again.
I don't think you guys submitted it.
Is there a way to change this to an easy shortened link, or should I do that?
You know what? I just cut and paste this into it. Yeah. All right. So can you guys? I'll help you with that. Do you have the link? Should we get started? Yeah. Can you help these guys get set up? All right. If you can hear me, clap once. You can hear me, clap twice. You can hear me, clap 3 times. All right. I'm loud, so this works well. Thanks, guys, for coming. This was a lot of fun. This is the most important part, I feel like. In a second, the judges are going to introduce themselves. Do you guys have a mic yet? Yes. All right. So keep in mind, this is where the value is for this night. Hearing their feedback, critiquing your pitches. You guys already met everyone, so that's a good takeaway.
We only have one mic. We should have more than one mic, because that would be awesomer.
You guys do like to talk, huh? I'm on it. All right, why don't you guys... Does that work?
2 mics is better than 1. 2 mics. Or multi-processing.
So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Okay, so I got social change out.
Test. Okay. Hello. My name is Chris Messina. I am a designer on the Google Plus UX platform team. I started out at Google in developer relations, so I worked on our platform stuff, and now I'm doing design stuff. So I vaguely, in the most abstract way, helped out with some of the new Google Plus design stuff, so hopefully you guys have checked that out. And before Google, I was sort of on my own doing my own consulting stuff, and now I'm fully employed.
Come on, Chris, you're being too modest.
All right.
Chris Messina is the inventor of the hashtag. This is true.
I prefer to call that the IRC channel, but you know.
Hi, Stacy Brown-Philpot. I am the COO at TaskRabbit. We're a little startup that helps people get things done. And I spent a number of years at Google before at TaskRabbit, most recently as an EIR at Google Ventures.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Palmeri. I'm a principal at SoftTech VC. We're a micro VC fund. We actually co-invest with Google Ventures quite a bit. And we invest in B2B and B2C internet and mobile companies.
I'm Don Dodge. I work in Google Developer Relations. Yeah, Google. I also work with Google Ventures in my spare time. Before that, I was at Microsoft for many years, and before that, I did 5 startups. Some of them you'll probably know: Napster, the music company; Alta Vista, the search engine; Groove Networks with Ray Ozzie, and a couple others that you probably don't know about.
Thank you, Don. 4 claps for Don. No. So my name's Chris DiBona. I look after open source for Google. And what you probably don't know about me is I've failed multiple times in startups. Succeeded twice, failed 3 times, different times. Yeah, I started developer relations at Google back in 2005 when we launched code.google.com back in the old days. I'm a limited partner at Icon Venture Partners. I'm also a Google Ventures associate, and I still work at Google running open source. So,
Great. All right, so just a quick recap. You guys have 2 minutes to present. Ahmed over here is going to be our lovely timer. And then 3 minutes of questions / comments, whatever these guys want to say. But we're going to try something a little different. We're going to kind of take it the big Omaha way, where before everyone presents, I want everyone to get up, shout, clap, get really loud, get them excited, and that way the pitches will be a little better, get some energy flowing, things like that. So we're going to give it a try. I want everyone to stand up right now, clap, shout, get ready. Woo! Yeah! Louder the better. All right. So you can sit down now. We'll call that a trial. That was good. All right, so the order, because I know you guys all have great eyes and can see this. We're going to go, I'm going to read them off, and then I'll let you know who's going on. But first, Scudio is going to be on. They're the gaming vertical. Smart Product Finders, second. That's health. SATs with friends. That's education. Take Time is the location-based gigantic group. Apricot is fashion. Q-Rates, enterprise. ARC, media entertainment. Glass MD is Google Glass. Social Change is Maker. That'll throw you off. Sorry, Social Charger. You're new. I'm still learning your name. And then Easy Ad for design. So all your tabs are listed up here. You guys have nothing to set up. Just come over here, switch tab if you want someone to drive while you're doing that. That's good. So are you guys ready? Yeah. All right. Let's give a big warm welcome to Scudio. Stand up. Woo!
you guys really make the shirts?
Style.
All right.
Can we do that one more time? All right. So let's get started here. Guys, we've been cheated. I have really bad news for you. If you guys have played mobile games in the past, really bad news is the chances of you playing a cheater are really damn high. Actually, around 1 in 4. This is not only a problem for the user base, but it's also a problem for game developers. Now, in real estate, there's a saying, and that is location, location, location. Well, in the gaming industry, we have a saying, and that is retention, retention, retention. The problem that cheats are bringing into the table is they're affecting a game's ability to keep their retention rates up. In that, what happens next is, people will just stop playing the games, and then that affects a game's ability to generate revenue. Well, guess what? We have a solution right now to block cheats from ever affecting a game's ability to generate revenue. Let me give you an example. Just throw some numbers out there. You guys have, most of you have played Words with Friends, right? There are about 150 cheats out there in the market. You can just quickly go in and type in Words with Friends cheat, and you can download the cheats right now. And in fact, the most popular cheat for this game has about between 5 and 10 million downloads. That's just insane. That means that every time you play a game, 1 in 4 times, you'll most likely be playing against a cheater. I don't know about you guys, but that really sucks. And then, you know, it takes fun out of the game, and it takes money out of the developer's pocket. So what we want to do, again, is just bring a solution to this problem. It's a new emerging problem, but nonetheless, it's a problem. You know, we like to think ourselves as the next Open Feint, and we also like to think ourselves as the next 10 million slam dunk. Thank you. Questions? Anyone? Our panel.
So as a person who cheats.
Oh, don't tell me that.
So, you know, when you use a trainer on a PC and it sits there and it watches the memory space of a game, how are you going to avoid that? How are you going to fight that kind of problem?
So there's different ways you can manage this, right? Luckily for us, the mobile space is quite different from desktops, and we have the ability to be in a more in a sandbox, ecosystem. What that means is we have the ability to detect cheats based on a unique identifier, in this case for Android, a package name. And then we're able to have a large definition list of package names. And that way we know that we for sure can detect that cheat whenever it's installed, and therefore block it and let the developer know that, hey, this guy's cheating.
So this is a problem, but who's going to pay you money to solve it?
So what we're trying to do is we have SDKs available for developers to integrate with, right? So it's as easy as 3 lines of code. And as soon as the developers integrate with our service, they can access all the benefits of anti-cheat for mobile, meaning they'll have the ability to scan a user's device against hundreds, if not thousands, of cheats. And that way, we'll be able to provide the protection for their games.
So what does it do when it discovers a cheat?
And that's a great question. We don't want to do anything. We basically want to let the developer know through a callback mechanism, and then it's the developer's choice to do whatever they want. They can nag them with a dialog box, or they can just simply say, you know what, we're not going to let you play until you uninstall these cheats. Sure. 56 kilobytes, the jar file. It's extremely small. I'm sorry? We're basically targeting apps, meaning cheats that are installed on a user's device. I'll tell you what, a browser is not going to do what some of these cheats do, which are extremely complex and advanced. Some of these cheats will actually take a screenshot of your ongoing game, use OCR, original character recognition, to detect the letters that are on the board, and then provide to you every single answer for that game that you're playing. It's insane. And you're not going to get that through a browser. You need to have a native application running, a native cheat running in the mobile device, and that's what we're blocking.
So I got a question for you.
Sure.
Why didn't you go the other way? Like, why don't you provide like an equalizer? So like, if I'm playing against someone who's cheating, I can cheat too. You know what I mean?
That's a solution to a problem.
I don't play games.
Okay.
So I'm struggling.
You gotta try Words with Friends. It's so fun. It's so fun.
But I've always been taught that cheaters never win, but in this case they do.
They do, and it sucks because what happens is...
How do you market this? You're not gonna make a decision, so you're gonna have the developers make a decision. So you can't market that the cheaters will never win. So what's the compelling value proposition?
We know that cheats are bad for the game, right? We know that for a fact.
Why are they bad for the game?
Well, a couple of things, right? What I mentioned. So it affects a game's ability to keep their user base, their retention rate.
And 1 in 4 people cheat?
About, yeah. And this is just, again, some numbers that we've gotten from the market, just looking at the number of people that have downloaded cheats. It's just insane.
In the last hour, they've discovered this.
So wait, so maybe one or two of us here are cheating right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here's another quick point I want to make.
Do I have to jailbreak my theoretical iOS phone to do that?
Well, you don't need jailbreak to cheat, and that's also part of the problem, right?
You need to detect cheating.
No, you don't need it. Nope, absolutely not. Just a quick note, right? Another thing that can greatly benefit developers is we also have the ability to block ad blockers. And if you guys are not familiar with this, a lot of the...
Why would anyone block an ad?
It's... Okay.
All right, guys. Let's give a big standing ovation to Smart Product Finder.
Hi, everybody. My name is George Gabori, and I'm here to talk about Smart Product Finder. Okay, so you go into a supermarket, thousands of products on the shelves. Maybe you're concerned about food allergies, glycemic index. If you're diabetes, maybe you're concerned about calories. But hey, do you have time to check it all out? Do you have time to read all the labels? Do you have time to look into that? Or are you just going to go, heck with it, I'm going to get the product, I'm going home. And maybe you're not getting the best product that you even want for yourself. So that's a real problem. How many of us are overweight? And how many of us are getting food or other kinds of products in our life that really aren't good for us, and we're not able to really make the best decisions because we don't have the time or the energy to go through all the data? Well, Smart Product Finder uses Google Glass to get around that problem and solve it. You go into the supermarket, you look on the shelves, you've already told it what you're concerned about. If you're diabetic, you might be concerned about a food with a high glycemic index. Maybe you're concerned about calorie content. Maybe you're concerned, hey, is this GMO? What's the probability that this food is GMO or non-GMO, or organic, trans fats, you name it. So you're looking on the supermarket shelves, and Glass is going to tell you a green light, a red light, a happy face, an index. How good does this product meet your needs? Or is this no, stay away from that? Or you like this product and this product, this product, maybe you're going to like that one or that one, and there's going to be ad revenue from that, right? So also it's going to tell you, like Amazon or other kinds of services, ratings from individuals and users. You can say, hey, this product really worked for me, or it didn't. And it goes beyond just food. What if you're concerned about a toy? You're looking at a toy on a shelf, and Google says, wait a minute, you're concerned about lead. Your kid might take that lead in that product and put it in their mouth, or no, or wait a minute. There's 500 people who said, this kid bought this toy, my kid bought this toy, and they got better grades in school and so forth. So this does potentially, I think it's a killer app, because what it does potentially, it just as Netflix changed the quality of what people used for their, the quality of what they have in their lives and of what they watch. This changes the quality of what you have and what you buy, what you take into your life, and it does it so easily just by Glass giving you that feedback. Are we out of time? Yeah. Yes, okay.
So I'm a large-boned person. Maybe I like living in denial. Why would I go and spend whatever Glass ends up costing the consumer, and then an app, I guess, that I would buy on Glass to do this?
You're going to save time. You're going to save a lot of time based on what you want out of life. And this thing telling you what you like in life, what matters to you when you're looking for products. You know, especially food, if you're whatever you're concerned about. Isn't saving time and getting what you want, getting that instant feedback worth something to you?
How do you think about keeping it less overwhelming? I mean, I'm walking down the aisle in the grocery store, and there's thousands of products that are kind of jumping out at me now with Glass, right? So, well, how do I walk through that? What would I say in order to make that happen?
Well, maybe you're telling it. Maybe you're just. Okay. Good question. And maybe you tell it how much data you really want. Maybe it's not going to give you anything until you hold the barcode up to it, and it scans it and gets the entry from the database. It's all the data that's relevant to you.
So if I make Doritos, how do I cheat this system?
You're a manufacturer. We come to you for certification, and you say, I want to certify with my paperwork that this is an organic product and it's non-GMO, and I'm lying through my teeth in the paperwork I fill out. So that's how you can cheat, although you might get caught for it by people may catch you on it eventually.
What if you don't go to the grocery store? What if you buy everything online?
If you buy everything online, this product is not for you.
So I can eat all the ice cream I want?
Yeah. Although, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there could be an online app that attaches to your computer that is related to it. It doesn't use glass, but maybe it runs in the background and gives you that extra information that accesses the database as well. So this could be an alternate to the glass. You don't really need glass if you're online, do you?
Oh, that's true.
So this could be
what does GMO mean?
Genetically modified organism. And see, that's the problem, because right now we don't know. Most people don't know, and that was what Prop 37 was about in the state earlier. What, whether a product is GMO or not. Unless a manufacturer tells you it certifies it's not, or in the case of our app, what it's going to do is it's going to look at the ingredients and it's going to give it a probability. Like if you're getting a soda pop and it's got corn syrup in it, the probability, if the manufacturer doesn't tell you, it's going to be about 90% that the corn syrup in that soda pop is GMO. So it's going to tell you. And unless they give you this, unless they certify the product in the database that it's non-GMO, it's going to warn you.
So how do you get paid, and have you considered using a temperature sensor to see if I'm in front of the ice cream counter?
That's a good idea. I think there's some ad revenue that's going to come in from, if you like product X or Y, check out product Z. Or let's say that there's a GMO Cheerios type product, and you say, oh, I want that, but it's GMO, and it's going to say, hey, there's another product here that's non-GMO. And if there's 3 of them available, there could be a revenue stream by which one pops up as the first alternate.
Great. Thank you so much. Hey guys, can you guys please keep it down? We want to make sure that everybody gets time up on the. All right, who's next? All right, so let's get a big warm welcome to SATs and Friends. Hold on. I gotta pause because I saw half of the back room not jump up. So let's try that one more time. I'm serious. Everyone get up. Let's get some energy.
Hi, so our idea is SATs with friends. The problem, studies have shown that continuous exposure to multiple sources of information at one time causes your brain to not have enough time to store into short-term memory into long-term memory. And this is a problem that children face today within a technology-driven environment, especially those that are studying for an intense test like the SATs.
Currently, there are 20 million high school students in the United States. 2 million are test preppers. This is a $2.5 billion a year industry.
Our solution is to create a fun mobile game where they can play against their friends or matched opponent based on their skill level. And the engaging and repetitive nature of gaming would encourage competition and memorization of the material. And unlike typical static game, this game would be social and real-time, and it would use advanced matching algorithms. So we're using Zynga's way of keeping their users engaged by matching them with players of similar abilities. So that way, the individuals continue bettering their scores and beat out their opponents.
So what does this game look like? There are 2 categories, math and verbal. For the math section, you would get 3 math problems commonly found on the SAT. You would work on the problems and then compare your results with your opponent. For the verbal section, you would match definitions with commonly found SAT words. And points would be earned based off of speed and accuracy, so, to ward off cheating. The platforms we're looking at are Android, iPhone, and Google Hangout. And our pricing format would be free, have a free app and then $3.99 for a pro version, and also expanding to other tests like the GRE and MCAT, those types of tests.
Thank you.
So who's your customer? Is it the teacher? Is it the parents? Is it the students?
It's definitely the students. So the students are the ones that are having to prepare for this test. Oh, sorry. It would definitely be the students because these are the kids that are preparing for this test, and usually it's the parents that are buying the test preparation. And so, these kids are on the App Store. They're buying apps, downloading things every day. So they would find this game and, be excited to play it and play their friends. So it's definitely for the kids.
Is it free to download? How does that work?
So it's free to download for a very limited version, and you could pay more to get a pro version to get more data sets or more, in-depth training. So it'll go deeper if you pay for the app.
So while I only got 200 on the SATs, it was my understanding there's 3 sections now, isn't there?
Yeah, there's also a writing section. I think you would have to probably figure out a way to get essay prompts in there, but I think that's further down the line. I think for now it's a very simple app where you're just learning very quick memorization skills on formulas and things like that.
Is it timed for your response?
Yes, it is timed.
And you get more points if you answer faster?
Correct.
Or something? Yeah,
Yep.
great.
It's
Awesome.
based on accuracy and timing.
I mean, did you guys also consider stuff that's a little less like the SAT in order to sort of motivate people to, one, sort of think about this as being fun, and two, to get people to come back to it organically, maybe people who are not studying for the SATs?
Yeah, definitely. I think this lends well to a very vast, wide range of kind of activities. So, it doesn't have to be test prep, but I think the goal of it is to really encourage kids to have fun when they're studying and to be engaged when they're trying to study and focus.
Would you be licensing the brand?
So I used to work at Zynga, but I mean, I think potentially
Full disclosure.
You could definitely license this brand out for sure. Yes. Thank you.
All right, take time to stand up and cheer for Take Time.
Well, we got a lot of support. Good evening. My name is Brandy Lee Camacho. Let me take this time to present to you a team that is going to announce our new application, Take Time. Currently, there are 1.3 million plumbers, electricians, and AC professionals in the United States of America. Many of them still use paper to track their time. Work orders. Current market leader, Service CEO, uses closed system and does not integrate well with a calendar. There is a problem, a real-world problem, in the service-based industry. Generally, service techs are more effective performing their daily job duties, not performing paperwork. Issues that are often found are inaccurate timekeeping, which results in a loss of profits for small and medium-sized businesses. Currently, service techs perform a manual process that uses paper to fill out their work orders. This results in errors. The end result is a major loss in profits for the business. With current technologies, there is a solution. There is no reason to do this manually anymore. Take a moment to imagine you're a service technician. You have an Android tablet device. Your application will utilize geofencing API to determine time of stay at the work site. Also, you will have the ability to provide a voice dictation of the work that was performed and calculate a route between sites. Small and medium-sized businesses do not have the time or resources to tackle a manual time management system. By leveraging Google technologies, we are providing an accurate and an effective invoicing system which will boost the overall profits for small businesses. Thank you very much. Take time.
How do you guys think about distribution to the service professionals?
Distribution to the service
Yeah,
professionals?
how do you actually get the tablet in the hands of the service professionals, and how do you actually get, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of service professionals. So you're not going to large corporations and going top down. So you're kind of going to individual reps. So how do you spread the word? How do you market this thing?
Okay. Thanks to Google, we have the marketplace and the Google Apps for businesses, so we can leverage this up. And that's, of course, one way. The other way around would be using AdWords to promote to online customer, which is the first target. Obviously, not all small business will use our app first day, but that's a start.
Plus, a lot of times, for small business, they get a lot of tips from their friends, and so word of mouth really helps if you got a great application.
Well, let's not forget that these service technicians right now already have a smartphone. I would have to say 90% of the professionals out there that are doing day-to-day services are managing their business solely off their smartphone. Now, when they start using our application, I'm willing to bet they're going to migrate to a tablet so they can be more efficient on the site.
So you don't know this, but I'm a plumber, and I have 4 trucks running around Tampa, Florida right now. So the flexibility that paper gives my guys is really pretty significant. I have bigger problems with like inventory management and all the rest. So what are you actually selling? Just an app? You selling like a whole thing that ties into my current like service software? I mean, what are you selling exactly?
Well, at first, I would imagine that this application would be aimed towards the individual at first, so we can promote it and get the word out there. So this application will run solely as a client application on the device. Then we'll go ahead and start introducing new service that's going to be aimed towards small businesses, 5+ individuals, which is going to go ahead and utilize App Engine as a back end, store data, perform reports, not to mention that when you sit there and store your data, you're going to, as a small business owner, you're going to be able to do reporting, export that data, import it directly into your accounting systems, such as FreshBooks, QuickBooks, and go ahead and have those invoices automatically developed for you. Now, it does save time. I understand that you're using paper on your sites, but let's not forget, these service technicians are doing this job manually. Most likely, you're going to be doing errors. Maybe they went from site A to site B and forgot about what they did, lost 15 minutes. You take 15 minutes with one employee, you're billing out $100 an hour. That's $25 that you just lost. Take that over the course of the week, you got $125. Over a month, it just adds up, $500 per employee. This program's going to literally save your business money and gain profits.
How do you deal with customization? You broadly talked about service providers, and at TaskRabbit, we work with a lot of service providers, and the skilled workers are different. The people who clean houses, the people who are plumbers, electricians, they want customized, and that gets expensive. So how do you build a scalable product?
Well, Google Plus handles a lot of stuff for us, and we're going to integrate Google Plus within our product.
Let's talk about mine.
Thank you.
Let's give it a sweet intro to Apricot.
Is that apricot with 2 P's? I'm just checking. Because we have a little bingo card going, and misspelling things intentionally is one of the bingo things. Let's vote your runway. Yeah. Are you the fashion people?
Fashion, fast cutter, yeah. So,
do you really think that Christopher Moore is fashion? No, go on. Sorry. I've really been more partial to Alexander McQueen, you know. So just the latest shoe line is fantastic. The 3-buckle boot. It's impossible to get, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, so we're Team Apricot, and our product is Vote Your Runway. So here's the problem. So if you're a student finishing fashion school, you're trying to launch your line, but you have no money. You're trying to get exposure, you're trying to get people to buy your product. There's no really way to connect with new consumers or actually get money to launch your product. So here's our solution. In a nutshell, it's like Project Runway, but online. So what we're proposing to do is have a monthly contest where designers can upload a project of the month, and people can vote on the project and select their best product. And the winner wins seed money for their first fashion line. So let's say, for example, this month is sweaters. So each designer makes their first sweater, people can design it, and then that winner will win money for their fashion line. So in the back end, how this works is that we're going to use Google Apps Engine to run the back end of the solution and do run analytics. And additionally, people vote on their products they want by using pictures, but they want additional interaction with the designer or the process. We'll also integrate YouTube for engagement on that aspect. So how do we make money with this? Number one, it's with advertising. So we plan on advertising with key products in the fashion industry as a way to generate revenue. Number two, it's actually more of a crowdsourcing model. So the top winner, in addition to winning seed money from us, is actually going to win money from the crowdsourcing people who vote them up. And our take is about 2 to 3% out of that in order to bring revenue to our company. And that's it. Thank you.
So I look at a lot of companies in this space, a lot. Can you give me a little bit more of an idea about where the funding is coming from? I assume you're crowdsourcing, right? The voting, but are people also prepaying for the orders?
Yes, they're prepaying for the orders, and it's basically 50% off. So that's the incentive for the customers to order online early.
Okay, and so then and that prepay for the order gets you enough to do what volume, like volume of order wise? Like, are you selling after the fact as well?
Yeah, because it gives the designer an incentive to say, should I actually produce this from a massive perspective? Because you don't want to produce something and no one's going to buy it. So it's a very good indicator of what consumers actually want.
Well, so one piece of feedback on this, just because I look at tons of companies in this space, you might want to think about the fact that typically these designers actually create a whole lineup, right? And it's not just one particular piece, and it becomes very difficult to sell one individual piece. So thinking about how you can actually fund a whole line is something that I would just kind of use as food for thought.
And the seed money is their fund, their first line. It's the monthly competition of that one item, so people can have. Customers can come to the site, I'm looking for a sweater, and find the best sweater out of all designers, and then that money will see their design because they like that designer.
Got it.
How do you deal with delayed gratification? I want my sweater now.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime, I can get it like tomorrow.
I can take that one. I think for sweaters that are readily available on the market, you do have a legitimate question. But right now, what we're offering is this unique item that nobody has come up from these fresh designers that nobody knows about. So it's worth the wait.
So I've backed probably 5 or 6, fashion projects on Kickstarter. I won Clothes for Life on one of them. I don't know how that happens, but I have probably gotten 1 pair of boxers so far. So I'm not wearing them now, to be clear. I am wearing some underwear, but anyways.
Do you anticipate they'll feel like sandpaper?
I'm just saying, like, if I hadn't gotten that pair of boxers, I may, anyways. I'm not going to go there anymore, but I think this problem of like delayed gratification and waiting, months and months to get fulfillment, I think is an interesting problem unless you have some alternative process.
You could run out of underpants.
That's my point, right? I mean, maybe there needs to be.
You must plan for underpants. Sorry.
That's the crux of my question.
So there's 2 things. So we talked about how do you guarantee that the designers are actually going to fulfill the promise and do what they're going to do? So we actually had a staged approach in which, you win $10,000, but you actually you get it in increments. So our idea is if you win, you have to upload pictures and videos. So like most successful Kickstarters, they give you progress, and so you're sort of.
So you're saying is like, I'm not necessarily buying the clothes, I'm buying the process, and then maybe I'll get some boxers or sweaters at the end.
Well, again, the seed money is for their fashion line, so you get the product, plus you're investing into their fashion line they're building.
And no designer wants his or her reputation ruined, because that's your reputation. You're not just some company.
I would have thought that on Kickstarter too, but.
Seems like this would be a good application for the big guys that are putting out fashion, because they are constantly guessing who is going to buy this and how much big production runs to do. So these are established designers and established retailers. They have no clue what the demand's going to be. So maybe you could apply it just to that rather than designers, but I don't know. What do you think?
Great, thank you so much. All right, 5-star ovation for Q-Rates. Yeah!
Hi, guys.
Just the next step. No, no.
Yes.
Okay, imagine this. You can I? Okay, imagine this. You go to a Starbucks and the cashier there either be somewhat nice to you or somewhat or give you somewhat of an attitude. It's not worth it that you go into the trouble of entering, finding an email or entering their lengthy feedback forms. But because the current state, all right, because the current state of feedback looks like either this manual or you have to enter a URL or scan a QR code that will lead you to a page that looks somewhat like this, a 20 question survey. But it doesn't have to be this way. What we're suggesting is a very quick way to gather customer feedback, either by NFC or scanning QR codes, where it will take you directly to a very simple form that looks like this, just a smiley face and a slider, and you can show how satisfied or how dissatisfied of the service you are. And the data goes directly to our cloud platform, and we can give them near real-time or even real-time feedback of how their service is doing. For example, they can get 5 unsatisfied customers and know there's something wrong in the branch, and they can take an action at the same time. So what we're suggesting is a way to solve the and have people actually give feedback and do all sorts of things with the feedback that we're getting once we get it. That's our idea. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?
You did. Okay. Have you considered calling it feedback with friends? No.
Friends will always give you positive feedback.
They're very unreliable.
So why would you do this from like the company side and not, sort of on the individual side, where individuals are able to have like an app or like, to talk about, I am an avid user of things like Foursquare, for example, and I make my opinions known there,
As opposed to, because the companies or enterprises already invest a lot of money in ways that they want to gather their own customers' feedback, and they spend all this reward points, and it doesn't work because it's not done properly. So what we're suggesting is something that will actually work for them. And
so you're saying it doesn't work because it's too complex?
Too complex, yeah, the interface.
So, but I'm wondering, like, is a smiley face a sufficient way of actually knowing, like, what's going wrong?
No. That's why it's the only required thing. All the rest can be optional.
We're more worried about frowny faces.
Yeah, if you get
the difference that this product is private. When you complain in Foursquare, everybody can see that, and this is only for it's only for the companies that want to really have their feedback, but doesn't want to have the complaints online. This is to take the complaints and then can change the service. If you have an immediate, for example, in a hotel, when you are in a hotel, you want to complain about the service. And you want to complain now, and you want to resolve it now. Yeah, it's like that. And if you don't have to wait to have these complaints until you don't have to wait to attain these complaints until the customer leaves your place, you can change the scene right now. And if you have another kind of retailing thing, for example, a cafe, you can see your customer, and you can, immediately taste the coffee. See, yeah, okay, we need to change the formula.
So businesses actually do have a big problem with Yelp. They want something that the customer can complain privately to them.
Yeah.
So if there was an app where you could complain privately and stop these negative things on Yelp, then they actually like that, and they pay a lot of money for that.
Correct. Sometimes I want to report a negative experience, not because I want to defame the business. On the contrary, because I want the owner of the business to know about the attitude of his employee and improve it. And of course, customer satisfaction is not solved properly because it needs to be authentic, or it needs to be very accurate.
The other pain point with Yelp is that the businesses can't respond in a timely fashion, or sometimes even at all. Yeah, without extortion.
And there is no way to tell whether it's a...
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's give a jumping ovation to Art.
All right, so while Tony sets up our Google+, we did want to make a mention that we had a sixth teammate tonight, Dustin. He unfortunately had to catch a bus home. Just wanted to give him credit as well. And then we're going to have a little bit of audience interaction in the beginning, so if we could ask for your support and interact with us with some of our questions, we'd love it. Thank you. Okay. So how many people out there have any number of contacts in your books right now that have more than one phone number or one email? Raise your hands. Okay, great. And how many of you have run into a situation where you get a mass email or you see a Facebook group saying, oh, I lost my contacts, can I have yours? Okay, great. And keep your hands raised if you didn't post your number because you didn't want anyone else to see it. So this is the problem today, is contact information is very static. There's a lot of services out there that crawl other social platforms that try to aggregate this data, but the problem really lies in the fact that that data is never posted, or people don't put them in those places for everyone to see. And so with Arc, we have our beta right now on the Android market. You can go down there and download ARKE, and the experience is very simple to get started. When you download the app, you sign in with your Google account. It pulls your basic information, and you add the extra that you'd like, work, physical address, and such. Then as you initiate handshakes on our network and they're accepted, that's when the magic starts. That's when you can decide who has what information, at what time, and how they can contact you. And it's very powerful when you think of people changing phone numbers, changing physical addresses, changing countries even, and being able to send out a message to 6 different platforms, letting people know about that, and then all the problems that ensue of people writing it down wrong, not putting it in, and losing track of those people. So we have a consumer model for revenue. We have a business to consumer, but one that's really exciting is our business to business one. Imagine for marketing, not only to your clients, but then to also any loyal members that you have, of an always up-to-date CRM. And what that can bring to businesses of always being able to follow their consumers or even follow other businesses as they move around, as they expand, as they change that information that, again, isn't always communicated and isn't always posted. And Arc is looking to solve that. Thank you.
I like that you guys are wearing glass on top of your head. It's very stylish.
That's a case, right?
Hey, I'll probably do the same thing. So, I work with a lot of really early stage companies in B2C, B2B, B2B2C, B2C, B2B. Where do you start? Like, you got to pick one. So where do you start first? And then how do you move to the next market?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we would start at the consumer level of having normal everyone in the room, everyday people being able to download that app and stay in touch with family, with friends, with college roommates. All of those user groups. I mean, literally our target markets are anyone who uses a phone to call. And so we have a very wide range of who we can adopt and who we can market to. And then eventually, as that model becomes successful, it only makes sense to then enter the B2C, so then business users can keep track of those customers that are already successful and on the network. and then eventually move to that business-to-business model in different areas such as IT and also CRM.
So if you're starting with B2C, how do you deal with privacy? If a handshake happens and then I want to unhandshake from people, what do I do? How do I easily, if I have 2,000 people in there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with Arc, there is row-level permissions as well as group permissions to instantly add someone to something that maybe only shares your work email if they're in a work group, whereas family get all the information. And the great part about Arc is just the power that it brings to people of you now own your information again. So when you disconnect with someone, they don't have a way to contact you.
So wait, so you're saying people on both ends need to use Arc?
They do, yes.
So
it's Plaxo. It's just as smart spamming me again.
I know. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, part of it too is like, I mean, you're competing with a lot of people, including Google, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
But you know, if you look at like your profile, you're able to like provide that information and choose exactly who can see it, and they'll be able to access that information. And we actually merge the information that you already have with that person in the profile. So how would you do something different or better than what we're already doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first and foremost, a lot of systems out there are either platform specific or they, like I mentioned earlier, only crawl sites.
So you're platform specific, right?
So with our platform model of starting with everyone on Arc, we eventually move into the ability for anyone to join. And it's also a matter of, you know, with all these services out there that already do it, like Google, people don't think of Google as that place to go and put their information to sync. People think of Google, first comes search, then comes Gmail. And so by starting with a feature that everyone else has added 10 years down the road, we feel we can build a better ecosystem with that foundation rather than adding it on later as an extra service that people don't think of and that even in Google's case, people don't trust.
Ouch. I won't take it personally, it's all right. Well, I guess we'll work on that.
All right,
All right, let's give a shattering ovation to Glass MD.
Woo! How's it going, guys? I'm gonna open this up with a quick. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good call.
Look out for
with a
the
quick
poster board
switch
there.
of the tabs on the web browser over here. So I'm going to open this up with a quick little story. My wife and I, we are blessed right now. We are pregnant, and we go to
Actually,
the
she's
OBGYN.
For the record,
Believe it or not, I'm eating for two. But we go there, and the OBGYN has no idea who we are, how many times we've been there, and what we're there for.
My God.
It was incredible. And I could not think of a better situation for Google Glass, where the purpose is to get information into the hands that need it when they need it. By implementing technology as simple as a card with a photo on it and EMR information, electronic medical information like patient's first name, DOB, height, weight, etc. These doctors can make decisions faster. So for example, 93% of doctors use electronic medical software. 70% say that it reduces clinical errors. Medical IT spending is at $69 billion according to our records, and it's increasing at 9.7% a year. Not to mention, just imagine what this could do for physicians' NPS scores. Hospitals are going to be our target market, followed by large medical groups. We would be implementing a per seat per year charge for the service. I'm going to close this with another personal story. My dad right now has prostate cancer. And honestly, if there's anything that I can do to improve his patient experience, I will do this. So an investment in us tonight is an investment in the healthcare of your family.
Have you ever tried to sell anything to hospitals?
Though I have not, I have industry contacts that do.
Okay, it's very, very difficult and takes a long, long time. You'll be an old man.
This would be something that would piggyback on top of an existing technology that would already be out there, such as Athena Health's cloud product.
So my name's David Torchiana. I run Partner Healthcare's surgical wing. So am I going to be able to wear these inside the OR suite? Is that the idea?
Go ahead and say.
So our target, we're thinking just pediatricians initially. So somebody, you go into your GP or whatever, and they would have it right there in the office visit.
It also include additional features such as the geofencing, where you could set it up on a per room basis. And when the doc enters that room, it can actually trigger an event that loads that person's data.
What type of hardware certification would Glass have to meet in order to be used in this kind of context?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough question. Like all the medical records and making sure that it's privately protected. I don't think the current API, we'll probably have to go to the GTK, which they just announced today, so that you could directly talk to the medical system as opposed to storing it on Google servers. So that would be an issue we'd have to resolve. Yeah.
Have you put your glass through an autoclave yet?
I have not. But I saw it go through a blender in the hacking class, and it actually didn't fare so well. But I gotta imagine it was a cosmetic blem anyway.
I think this is interesting if you actually have more information beyond what that specific physician knows about you. So if you're going to the pediatrician and you know something about the parents, or if you're going to the OBGYN and you know something about from the pediatrician. That's the cross information of data is more interesting than just the specific information to me.
Some of these companies also have CRM software that could be integrated as well. And you could have literally a ticker that's scrolling with the most relevant information.
So, so Google tried, a health product a little while ago. And I'm wondering, if things have changed enough now where if instead of worrying about like the physicians having these types of tools, that if individuals have access to this stuff, have a way of storing this information, have a way of, let's say, using Glass to actually pull up their medical information, that maybe a better approach, a simpler approach, a faster to market approach would actually be to sort of like revisit that and individuals storing or collecting their own information. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a total switch, I think. Total 100%. I mean, I think there's a lot of applications in healthcare, and that could be one. I think the one that we're on could be an interesting one as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's give a friendly ovation to Social Charge.
First of all, thank you for saying the name right. Social Charge. Don't you just hate it when your devices are run out of power when you're on the go? Oh, I hate that. I know, so do I. Forget your charger, too many chargers to carry in your bag. This is a problem that we all facing. So Social Charger, we provide you the solution through this 24/7 convenient, reliable, and stylish solution. What we offer a product with a Sphere-like stylish product that could power charge most of your device. We would partner with partner like a Uber, taxi drivers, Peace Coffee, and airport location, convenient locations for you to charge your devices on the go. We want to provide a social app where you can get notification when your device are low on power. You see through Google Map where are the convenient social charger locations are to guide you to the nearest salvation point. Now, the market is huge. By 2020, there are 10 billion connected devices. Only counting 1% of the devices, charging 5 minutes per month, we're looking at a $1 billion market. Of course, the pie is huge, but we're looking at starting at a small place. Well, our huge San Francisco place. And we want to scale and expand through partner with Uber-like natural synergy companies. And you may ask, how do we make money? We make money 2 ways. Number 1, through advertising with AdSense, and number 2, through charging per minute charge with Google Wallet. Thank you.
So I think your battery-starved model is the same woman as the barista in that last pitch? No. So is the idea to distribute batteries to all these drivers, or what's your goal?
To taxi drivers,
charged batteries.
Airport. So we'll provide mini charge stations.
And you're going to have Nexus queues everywhere.
We got to do something with them.
Mine's a doorstop.
2 + 1 Google point, right?
So wait a second. Whenever I order an Uber or a Lyft or whatever, or Sidecar, or what are the other ones like Slice and Taxi? I don't know Taxi. I'll have to download that. Okay. Anyways, I'm like, hey dude, do you mind if I plug into your power thing in the front? And he does it for free. So isn't your competition
with one
free?
device, your smart device with iPhone, he probably have that charger. Lucky for you. However, I'm carrying my iPad, my Lenovo laptop Ultra all-in-one. All this
Blueberry and your BlackBerry and your Windows Phone.
I do not. My purse is not that big. I need to be stylish.
Wait.
Are you saying Androids aren't stylish? This also allows a way for him to make a little bit more money off of.
It's a revenue share with our partner, with taxi drivers.
I'm just going to give him my phone. This is going to cost way too much money for me to live anymore. I'm kidding. I'm not going to give my phone.
We're looking at the prototyping, targeting maybe around $20 per device. So we're looking at starting with San Francisco, starting with 2,000 devices to start with, partner with. That's probably $100,000 on that to $1 million. That will get us started.
How much per minute is it to charge?
We're looking at the initial model to be work in progress. We're looking at 25 cents per minute.
Okay, and how long does it take to charge a phone?
Assuming power charging that we can get our hand on some super magnetic product, then we're looking at 5 minutes charging time.
5 minutes. So this charges super fast.
That's our goal.
Yeah. We're thinking of leveraging the supercharge thing you can see at airports.
Yeah.
And we're also thinking of possibly doing some sort of advertising model where you can look
What's
at an
the ad
advertisement
model? I don't
instead.
get that.
So
No screen. I mean,
So
is 3D images going to come out of the
potentially,
sphere?
we can partner with Google to do that. Our thinking is when you're charging your device for 5 minutes, you're really linked to the device. And then through that time, you capture the audience. And with that 3D projection, you can really change people's mind.
So since we're being fabulous, I'm Elon Musk. Could I trade in my Tesla for a charged Tesla?
That would be a great idea.
No, this actually is a big problem. To be able to supercharge your phone super fast, that's a big deal. I'd pay for that.
How big is this going to be? Is this the kind of thing I could put in my purse and run off with when I get out of the Uber?
This is probably not fitting the purse type, but we would partner, place it at a piece or airports or taxi. They would provide plenty of space.
Okay.
But probably not personal.
Is it big? Is it? I can't tell from the picture. Is it life size there?
Bigger than a bread box.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, easy ed.
Just the page.
Yeah, go for it.
Is this easy ad with 2 Ds or 1 D?
1 D.
1 D.
Is it EZ or EASY? Yes? Not helpful. Because our bingo card says if they don't have vowels or do short spellings, we get extra points. Is it easy ad? Does it end in .ly? Adly? Is that an I or a bracket at the end there?
It's good. Okay, let's go.
Yes. Hi. So we want to have a quick question and quick conversation with you guys. So how many of you guys have used, or how many of you guys have made apps? Or thinking of making one? Awesome. So the problem is that most mobile apps, startups have great ideas, but they have a hard time finding the right advertisers and don't know how to integrate ads into their app for a great user experience. So that's not intrusive. And this is a design problem. So something that might pop up or something that's flashing, the banner, what have you. So the solution is Easy Ad. We are a service that connects app makers to advertisers. App developers can finally concentrate on making an app instead of figuring out how to monetize it.
Right, so Easy Ad has 2 main components: the client that is installed with the app developer's app, and our back-end service that returns ad content based on demographic and location information. The app developer does not need to know anything about the ad. The workflow is the app developer gets demographic and location information from their Facebook proprietary from their Facebook login or their proprietary own login, and the device's geographic location. Easy Ad, that information is sent to our Google Cloud, which has our services running on it. Easy Ad dynamically gets the advertiser content based on the user's demographics and location, and returns the ad content. Our Easy Ad app component, that's a library with their ad, or with their app rather, displays an ad overlay that's very subtle, seamlessly over the application, using one of our many templates. For example, a semi-transparent ad overlay walks a company and product name over the bottom of the screen.
So our target audience is anyone who has created an app or wants to create an app. There's over 900,000 active apps on iOS, and from I/O, there's 900,000 Android apps.
So what would you say the opportunity would be?
For advertising. So I'm an app developer. I like ads. So how hard is it for me to integrate this into my application / website?
Sorry, talking to the mic here. So this is a library that you would use with your Android or iOS application that you install that runs along with it. And you don't have to worry about it. Once you install that library while you're developing your application, you just need to link up, like we said, the Facebook token or your own proprietary token that you send to us. And we overlay that in a very subtle way. We want to be very subtle. We don't want to be the ads that we all see, the pop-up ad. This is subtle. This is your eye's not really going to be super drawn to it, but it's going to be very subtle because we concentrate on that design. That's what we do. So our product is we outsource that ad, the connector to the actual advertisers, as well as creating really nice looking subtle ads for you, so you can concentrate.
So wait, so you're basically an ad agency?
No, we connect you with the advertisers.
Who do you connect us with? The advertisers or the ad developers or the?
Well, do you want to respond to?
Yeah, wait, so you're connecting? I'm an app developer. You're connecting me to who?
You're sending us. You're right. So Ford would come to. We would work with Ford, and then so you have an app. You're creating Seamless or whatever the app is, right?
Sure.
So you just send us the demographic and location information. Location, so we can connect you to a local business if you want to do that.
Okay.
And then we connect you with Ford based on that demographic. Say, okay, Ford wants to sell to 30 to 40-year-olds in this specific location. We send the ad back.
You have the target market.
Right.
What kind of rules are there about passing this data on, like, you know, that you get from Facebook? Are you able to just like sort of like smear that data all over the place, or what?
This is your basic Facebook profile information, just the basic information.
Right, but I provided that information to like the app, and so then the app hands that off to like you, the advertising sort of go-between, and then you give that to.
We do, but the good thing about this is that this is the most basic information. How many times have you installed an app and it asks for like all these different things? Like I installed Sonar last night. I didn't even know if I wanted to click OK because it was like 80 different things it wanted to get. We're doing the most basic one. Basic information. That's date of birth. That's what country.
I mean, that's all PII
that's
still,
locale.
right?
But that's that's a Facebook token. That's what everybody's Facebook token. Whenever you click a Facebook login or sign up, that is sent.
I think there's a bigger opportunity to actually serve ads that the people want to see that are using the app instead of the ad that Ford wants to serve.
Think about this though. So we're trying to solve the monetization problem for the app designer. If it's seamless and their business is getting food delivered to people, they don't want to have to think about advertising and all this kind of stuff. That's not their business. But about the application isn't really relevant either. It's really about who you are, right? Your demographic, your location.
We're disconnecting.
Here's the other piece too, is that.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we finished. Round of applause for everyone. Woo! Yeah. Thanks for standing up. All right, so this is going to be quick. Judges, if you guys can follow Ahmed to, I think we're going to use that conference room over there. Decide which of those last hour, which 5 minutes are your favorite. We're going to stay here, maybe do a few interviews in the back, so if we pull you aside, we've got some questions for you. Martin's also throwing up a survey here if you guys have some brutal advice or input, comments, whatever, for the event. But yeah, stay tuned and we'll elect a winner. So let's hang around.
So welcome to Pitch Night, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Glad to be here.
If you spoke into this microphone tonight, we filmed you. I don't know if you knew that. We also have a release if you guys want to be shown in our video, which we'll probably put online afterwards. So I think we're gonna have someone standing where? Right here. Okay. So if you spoke in this microphone, come see us. Yeah.
So welcome to Pitch Night, everyone. I'm here with Scodio. So guys, what was your inspiration for your product tonight?
I think our inspiration came really from, we all play games and we love just gaming in mobile and PC and all this. And just the fact that we were playing games and being constantly cheated and losing to people unfairly, it was terrible for us. I think that's what really pushed us to, really come up with a solution for those cheats and come up with an anti-cheat system that really works for mobile.
Excellent. So did you come to this event with this idea? Is this something you've been working on?
We did. It was actually something that, again, we play a lot of games online and just constantly, getting cheated over and over again. We said, guys, we got to do something about this. And really, that's how it came about.
Awesome. So how do you feel like the pitch went tonight?
Well, we thought it went pretty good. It was actually, we were a little bit nervous at first and, slowly got, more calm. And I think people understood what the whole concept of our product is.
Excellent. So do you think that the feedback that the judges gave helped shape your product at all?
I think so. I think, the feedback was objective, which is always something we appreciate. And also it was from leaders in the industry and people that have the experience, so it's always great to hear from them.
Excellent. Well, tell us just a little bit about your product, and then yeah.
Sure. So what Scodio is an anti-cheat solution for mobile games. We currently support both iOS and Android, and we have an SDK for both platforms. Developers can just go sign in, download the SDK, and really in a matter of 5 minutes, they can go in and integrate their games with our solution. And this way, they'll be able to pretty much block every single cheat out there as long as it's listed in our cheat database.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
All right, great.
All right.
stream, so you guys are imitating. You'll find out, won't you? Great. So you guys just want to introduce yourselves and what group you're with today?
I'm Alex.
In the mic, so
I'm
they can hear
Alex
you.
Palmer, and we're with the group that did the Glass project on Glass MD.
Glass MD. Okay.
I'm Sachin. I'm a developer based out of New York, and I'm in the same team, Glass MD.
Great. You guys want to talk a little bit about how you came up with your idea and how it was developed over the night or before the events? In the mic, so they can hear you.
Kind of worked. So we all split up and had separate
Closer.
projects, and so the two of us were on a separate project for most of it until the end when we voted on the final projects that would go on. So I don't know very much about the early development, but we can talk a little bit about what we did to develop ours.
Just sure, go for it.
Okay, so we were gonna do an app for like a teleprompter. So essentially, you've got people and they're looking down at a teleprompter, and when they look down, you've got the problem of, well, you want to have good eye contact. So it's nice because you have good eye contact, but some of the problems you have are you've got slides that you want to have synced up to your glass. So there are a couple things that you can do. You can swipe, right?
You want to talk more in the mic.
Sorry, you can swipe, and as you swipe, it will change the slides in the background, and but you might have too much text for a specific slide, so you need to think of a way to solve that. And so some of the things that we talked about were a look down feature, where when you look down, it starts to scroll down, and then you look back level, and it levels out and stops, so you can read and scroll at the same time. And
was this for the pitch that just went?
No, it was for because we were on separate.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Separate
team. Yeah, because we all split up into I think 4 projects. And
what were some of the other ideas? Just out of curiosity, I didn't see the Google Glass.
So we had. Do you want to?
I think one idea was the business on the go, so like live real-time translation. So what happens is I think they were trying to market it to organizations who do businesses as a multinational. So you have various languages involved. So Glass would come in and do the translation while you're talking with someone in another language, and give you also be a tool that teaches you the language over time. So that was the other idea.
So only 3 ideas were pitched for Google Glass?
So we had a travel idea. I don't know if I can mention it, but there's an Easter egg in Glass, and I don't know if I can talk about it, but essentially we wanted a tour app where you could walk around, and as you walk around you look at your street view, and so you got street view, which is a 360-degree picture, and as you look up you see the different landmarks, and then they're also labeled, so you can kind of see the environment as you're in a person. So you could do a tour from a remote location, or you can do it live.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Sorry, we had like 20 ideas.
Sit down. Come on, everybody. Let's go.
Here's my 30-second pitch. All right, a lot of you guys came from I/O. I don't know how many of you know about Startup Weekend, but our organization, our goal is to spread and democratize entrepreneurship through events like Startup Weekend. We're a nonprofit. We have tons of events all around the world, whether you're from San Francisco, Chicago, Asia, Europe, you name it, we're there. If you guys have any interest in attending our events and kind of taking an idea like this, developing it more, and turning it into some sort of business, check us out, startupweekend.org. We love Google. Why don't we give a round of applause for Google for hosting us here? It's a fantastic place. Martin, Sarwat, Stephanie, thank you guys so much for helping us. And another round of applause for our judges. Appreciate you guys coming out here.
Okay. First of all, thank you all for coming out and doing this tonight. It's late, and we appreciate you all being here. You did a terrific job. One of my other jobs, I'm like a professional judge. So I judge startup competitions probably 10 to 15 times a year.
He also does DUI court. But,
yeah. And I see over 500 pitches a year, 500 pitches of startups. And some of you here tonight were better than those guys that spend their life doing this. So you guys really did a nice job. To tell you a little bit about how we do this, we have scoring sheets here, and we scored each one from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, over 4 different categories. I don't know if we told you about that. But anyway, we all put our numbers down, we calculated the results, we went into the other room, and we said, okay, put your top 3 companies on the board. So all 5 of us put our top 3 companies on the board. And that's how we determined the winner. One company, only one company, showed up on all 5 of our tallies, and that company is SAT with Friends.
All right, guys. SAT with Friends, come on up. We'll do a picture, and you guys get some cool stuff. So you get to hear more from our lovely Don Dodge over here. He's going to give you a coaching session. Credits for the Google Cloud Platform, Google Swag, who doesn't like Google Swag, and a ticket of your choice to either Startup Weekend or Next, which is the other program. So let's get a picture. You guys, thanks a lot for coming out. We're going to make sure you clean up your stuff. Don't forget laptops, bags, you know the drill. So thanks, appreciate it, and see you next time.